Do you struggle to going to the gym? Do you find that very tiring? Do you find no real intrinsic satisfaction, but you're still keep going because you're hoping into an external goal like, oh, I don't know, if I keep training, maybe the girls will like me, or you keep training because you're hoping to win a competition, you're trying to improve your performance, or for any kind of reason, but you're not really enjoying it. You don't really like the process of training itself. And if this is you, listen up. I'm gonna show you how you can increase the experience of your training to make it more optimal and enjoyable with the flow state. What is the flow state? Flow state is the optimal experience. And a lot of artists, athletes, workers, even some surgeons, and every high performer experiment flow constantly during the day. And they all have the same description. Athletes describe the flow as staying in the zone. In an it's a state where mind stop to wandering. You don't have that much thoughts in your brain. Movements feel effortless, and you can achieve a state of high bliss and high performance during flow state. It what makes an activity not only more enjoyable but also intrinsically motivating. It improves your consistency and long-term results and can also enhance your performance during these activities. What are the benefits of experimenting more flow during your training? If you're training with weights, if you're doing cardio, if you're doing skill, basically everything related to training, it benefits from entering more frequently in the flow state. The benefits are more enjoyment and intrinsic motivation. If you're doing something because it's autotelic, it means that it gives you joy by himself. We all love sex, for example. Why do we love sex? Well, we love sex because sex is fun, because something is fun. This is autotelic. We are doing something because the activity itself gives you joy. And also training could be like that. You will be able to get the reward by the training itself, something very, very powerful. And this will increase your intrinsic motivation to engage in training and also consistency. If an activity is intrinsically motivating and autotelic, it will be easier to engage it more and more often. You will not have to force yourself this much for entering into a training session. And therefore, if it increases your consistency, it will lead to better long-term results. Third, enhancement of max intent in strength training. That's an interesting concept. For getting better gains, especially in the compound lifts, in the domain of powerlifting, weightlifting, or strength training, what is necessary is to apply maximal intent for every lift. What do I mean about that? When you're trying to squat, it was proven by scientific studies, by the way, that if you try to lift the weight as fast as you can, as strong as you can, if you try to apply as more intent as possible into every exercise, it will lead to better neurological and hypertrophic adaptation. So if you are in a flow state, so a more calm, not even calm, a more not even calm or relaxed, a more focused, a more engaged mental state, it will lead you to express better and higher intent in training, and so it will lead you to better gains overall. It also shown that flow state in skill training lead to more improvements in motor learning and brain plasticity. Basically, what brain plasticity is changing of the connection between your neurons in order to increase your movement efficiency. Because programming movements all start with the brain in the central nervous system, and if your central nervous system is more efficient, is better wired to coordinate your movements in order to increase the efficiency of the lift, you will able to lift more, so apply more tension to your muscle, and that will lead to better gains. And in general, it will boost your performance and life quality, of course, because it's good to have great gains, but if your life sucks, it's not that great anymore. How to induce flow? Luckily, Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi and different psychologists of high performance find out that there are some elements to every activity that cause flow, training included, has some triggers. So there are some particular things that you can do in order to enhance your likelihood to engage in a flow state. Now it's not necessary that you hit all of the flow triggers that I'm going to explain to you, but the more you have, the better it is. So let's start. The first and most important flow trigger is the skill challenge balance. It was proven that in order to enter in a flow state, the challenge that you're facing must be kinda there with your abilities. So if it's too difficult, you'll probably feel anxious towards the task that you're going to do. If I tell you if you have never run in your life, oh, go out there and run a marathon, oh fuck, it's very anxious, you are probably feeling too scared in order to engage in this activity. And if it's too easy, you will probably get bored. Okay, so if I tell you go take a walk in the park for 5 minutes, and you will probably get bored, you will not be engaged that much in the activity. But if I can find something that is not boring to you, so that you will be engaged, and not something that is too much for you, it's the right challenge. If I am able to giving you the right challenge, you will be forced to focus on the task at your hand, but you will not be overwhelmed by the difficulty of it. So if you're bored during your training, it means that you're not getting challenged enough. If you're getting bored while you're weightlifting, you can feel that your head is starting to wandering, it means that you're not optimally loading yourself. You should increase probably the load, you should increase the number of reps, you should increase the difficulty of your task. If you're running and you are getting bored, maybe you should run a little bit faster, or you should place a greater goal for your training. So run for longer, run faster, okay? Or run more during the week. That's how you enter in a flow state. You have to challenge yourself. For lifting, as I said, is about increasing number of sets, increasing number of reps, increasing the weight. For cardio, it's about running faster or running for more. There isn't that other option. For skill, it's a little bit different. If you are trying to enter, it's easier, in my opinion, to enter in a flow state during skill training, especially if you're doing a sport that you particularly enjoy. But to increase difficulty is a little bit complicated, and you should look at the sport-specific domain. So to increase difficulty in skill, you should add more complexity to the skill that you're practicing, or you increase the velocity of the task you're performing. And once you've increased the velocity, once you've increased the complexity of the task, you should start to add some randomness, adding some random stuff to it. So if, for example, let's say you're practicing boxing drills with your partner. First you start practicing the jab, okay, you have to learn the movement. Then to increase the difficulty, you will start to add some combinations. So it's not just like jab, you will do jab hook, and you start to increase the combo. Now that you have increased the complexity, you add some randomness to it. So you do jab hook to your partner, and your partner at one point will start to trying to dodge or to um, parry your strikes. Okay, that's the logic, and you can apply it to basically everything. So first increase complexity, then add some elements of randomness and increase gradually the speed. That was the first and most important element. You could, I think that's the only element that really matters that much. If you don't, if you're not able to place yourself a good enough challenge for your training, you will not absolutely feel any kind of flow state. Even if you have all of the other things that I will mention in the list, if there isn't a good challenge, if there isn't a difficult enough challenge, you will not be able to experiment the flow state. Let's go with the second one. Autonomy. Having autonomy doesn't mean doing whatever the fuck you want. It means finding a way to train that works for you, that you feel aligned with your goals, and that you enjoy, that you feel control of it. Okay? If you have some exercises that you don't like or that you don't feel necessary for you, talk with your coach. Organize your program in a way that suits the best what you want to achieve, and that makes to you more enjoyable. Feel that you're the architect of your own program of training. All right? If you feel that your program is not leading you where you want it to be, talk with your coach. Talk with someone who have a different opinion of it, so you can adjust it and make it more enjoyable for yourself. Okay? And it will be easier to enter in a flow state. And talking about programs and how to make your adjust your training plan in order to enter more frequently in a flow state, we arrive to the third flow trigger, which is clear goals and clear program. Having precise, measurable goals is essential to entering in a flow state. And one thing that makes me crazy is that some people don't have a precise program written down before entering the training practice. How can you just enter in the training practice and doing whatever the fuck you want? It's impossible. If your mind is, if you arrive in the training room, okay, and you start the training, thinking, well, what should I do today? Maybe I should do squats, or maybe should I do bench? Should I do cardio before, or should I do cardio after? You have all of these random thoughts that comes to your mind, and if your mind is focused on all of that bullshit, like how many sets, how many reps, which exercise, when should I do that, before, maybe after, am I pushing too much, am I pushing too little, is this the optimal exercise, you will not make any progress. You need a specific program for every day that you can repeat. Otherwise, it will be useless, because your mind will be too much occupied about thinking all of this bullshit, and you will not be able to express max effort in everything that you're doing. And if you're not expressing max effort, you will not drive adaptation to your body. Okay? So, what I can tell you is write down a program before entering in the gym, or buy a program. I don't have any program to sell you right now, but actually buy a program. There are a lot of good programs out there for physical training preparation that match your goals. Just buy one, or hire a coach. If you hire a coach, all of these problems will be solved. A coach is useful for that. A coach will reduce your cognitive load in order for you to concentrate only for your training. Okay? So have clear goals and have a clear program written down before entering in practice, for lifting, for cardio, and even for skill training. All right? Fourth flow trigger in training: immediate feedback. Immediate feedback is crucial to know if you're doing something right. In training, there are natural feedbacks. Training is cool. Physical training is very cool because it's an activity that will give you immediate feedback. You're either able to lift that weight or you're not. You're able to run a specific time or you're not. Okay, you can complete a skill or you cannot complete a skill. It's very cool because immediate feedback is something intrinsic in how training works. But you can enhance feedback by relying on a coach. Okay, I'm telling you that again, or a training partner that could give you an eye from outside. He could tell you, oh well, you moved it good, you improved your technique, or if you're doing, for example, skill drills, oh, you get better. I feel that good. I don't feel that good. I think you should adjust that. Okay, this is what feedback is. Feedback permits you to adjust in real time what you're doing and improving your performance and improving your sense of control over what you're doing, and also reduces your cognitive load about thinking, oh, am I doing this right, am I doing this wrong, should I increase more the weight? Hire a coach and it will solve your problem. Or track your training and try to increase it over time. And it's very difficult to track your training. I become good at it. Maybe I will do a guide about it. But if you feel like you don't have enough feedback, you don't know if you're doing something good, if you should increase the weight or not, hire a coach or ask for a training partner. Or film yourself, film your workouts, and see over time if you're getting better. That also will lead to better intrinsic motivation and more flow state during training. The last flow trigger is high concentration. Concentration is the key to flow, is essential. And it's the ability to exclude from your mind the unnecessary stimulus that you see in your environment and converging your focus only on the task that you have at your hand. And it should be a very clear task, like lift that bar, place one foot in front of another if you're doing cardio, or run at this pace if you're doing cardio, or throw that ball, etc., etc., etc. Depends by the skill that you're practicing. And there are internal distraction and external distraction, but one big piece of advice that I can give you in order to enhance your concentration during physical training is leave your phone out of the training room. That's the thing. 80% of problems of attention could be solved by simply leaving your phone in the locker room. So, but if you're like me, I personally use my phone during my training in order to record myself during exercises or to take track of what I'm doing. And that's perfectly fine because you are not distracting yourself from other shit. If you are able to not going to WhatsApp or Instagram or checking other bullshit that doesn't have anything to do with what you're doing right now, that's perfectly fine. But if you have problems checking your phone during training, just leave it in the locker room. Use a piece of paper to sign what you're doing, how many sets, how many reps, and just don't use your phone. There was also studies that was watching the relationships between use of social media prior to training and gains, and it was showed that using social media, I think 30 minutes to 1 hour before practicing, before going to training, reduces performance by 5 to 10%. And I'm not joking about it, you can research it. There was the study of lifters, and they watched that if you're using social media before doing, for example, a bench, your the weight that you're able to lift is reduced by 5 to 10%, and it's something crazy, right? So don't use your social media prior to going to the gym, because it will reduce your gains and it will lead you to more distractions and less probability to enter into a flow state. And for various problems that could pop into your mind while you're doing your training, have a little ritual before entering into practice. Have something that will make you in the zone. All of the great athletes have their rituals. Find your one. Could be something very simple, but make it a moment of mindfulness where you're concentrating on that one little ritual. In For me, it's when I enter into tatami for practicing for judo. Always I always put shit, I don't know how to talk. I always we go with naked feet. Oh fuck you, I don't know how to speak. Make sure that you have a ritual before every training. It could be something very simple, like, I don't know, touching a necklace, or adjusting your clothes in a specific manner. Find something that works for you, but have a ritual in order to increase your focus before training session. So these were the 5 training flow triggers that will help you to enter in an optimal state of consciousness during training, and these are: challenge, skill, balance. So you have to have a good challenge into your training. Training should be challenging for you. You should have autonomy upon it. You should have control over what you're doing, or a sense of control over what you're doing. Having clear goals and a clear program, that's absolutely important. Have specific written down goals, and have already training plan for the week, and for the months it would be even better. But have a fucking plan, otherwise you won't be enter in the flow. You will be thinking too much. Have an immediate feedback. Hire a coach, or ask for a friend to help to train together. It will be more fun, and you could give feedback to each other and hype each other. It would be more motivating. In high concentration, leave your fucking phone out of the training room. That's all that I have to say. Now that we have covered all of this stuff, thank you if you watched this video till now. Try to implement what I just tried to teach you, and give me feedback in the comments, so that I could be able to adjust my videos in order to make it that more useful. And the video is over, and remember to aim upward and keep searching for strength.